Good morning. This time I'm not going to miss it if it happens. I'm here at 10:24. I know at 20 of to even time. Today I need it. It's been kind of dead. But 242, 2 days. It's not bad. I need to make 135 each day. Set your goals higher. Don't settle for less. It's easy to just rationalize it. Oh, that's okay. Be happy after you're happy to do one more. Kind of like borrowing off Nick Bear's idea of go one more. Well, you can apply it. Like, oh, I'm good for the day. Well, then just take one more order after you're happy. Then you're always doing that one more order, right? It's kind of, yeah, it's a good way to. Because, yeah, definitely when it comes to money, it's easy to rationalize things. Definitely, I can see, I, I'm doing good at paying my credit cards before the end of the statement. And I've accrued, I think, about $300 worth of rewards. So I think that's a good idea, but I understand and I respect and I'm going to follow the cash rule. Because, yeah, taking my food, making a budget, I've done that. And then having my food money in cash, it it does make you think differently. It's easier to use your credit card and then spend too much versus having the pocket of money. It's true. Um, Dave Ramsey, talked about that, and he's right. It's common sense, but it's true. And then it's easier to be more disciplined with money when you're using cash versus the credit card. Um, but if you're not paying interest, if you pay within the cycle, and then you're not spending more than what you're making, then what's wrong with getting the 4 and the 5% cash back? You know what I mean? That's um, one thing I'm a little bit probably going to be stubborn about, I guess. But definitely, um, absolutely thinking about how he's laid out when you look at a loan. I have a low interest rate, um, and it's like $3 a day of interest. So buying a shit clunker and then setting aside a car payment each month and putting in a CD or something makes more sense. Like, say, hey, I want this nice car. How am I going to save for it? Well, the typical car payment's $500. Okay, then give yourself 4 years. Now you got 48 months worth of $500. So every 6 months you can roll it into a CD, right? And sometimes, like, I have one CD that's at 3%. That's going to amount to a car payment. So then if you have a clunker, then you're not paying that interest each day on a loan, right? So it makes perfect sense. You're going to make the car payment anyways. So that is the better way to buy a car. Now, people might be like, well, you can't get a better deal if you don't finance. Well, okay, then finance it. But then pay off the loan within a couple of weeks. Then essentially you're still using cash. So why not just pay off the loan all at once you've saved up for it? you can't get a better deal because, yeah, what he says kind of confirms what I was thinking. Is that, yeah, dealerships are selling the loan. I was saying that, and that's what they're doing. Is they're selling loans. They're definitely leasing cars. I can definitely understand how you're losing money leasing the car, especially if you have any marks on it. So that makes sense. When you conceptualize it that way, it makes perfect sense to do it that way. I definitely have put money in a bill savings account. I've done that already. So I can go a month and pay my bills. I do have $1,000. The example of a car tires, I mean, I was able to handle that. So I'm doing that. I'm eating out at the restaurants, but I'm often eating out of the grocery store as if the grocery store is a restaurant. So what I do is I'll go in, I'll get some fruit, and I'll buy a couple hard-boiled eggs, and then I'll eat it. It's cheaper that way than going to the restaurant. So I could do better about not eating out all the time. But yeah, I'm categorizing the money. So I can see that point. His points. Debt definitely isn't good. I've learned from that, from experience, working to get out of it. I still think that putting the money aside in a savings account and then paying off the debt all at once, I think that's a good strategy. I haven't read that yet in his book, but that's the way I'm going to do it. And I'm still rapidly putting money aside to pay off the car. I just don't give it to the bank yet. And I'm making interest on the CD. I have $5,000 in a CD that's only 0.0035, and I have the 2,999 on the 3%. Hopefully, I project my taxes I'm gonna owe is gonna be $5,000, $4,000. I haven't had to pay that much in the past, but I'm not driving as many miles. So, yeah, hopefully I'll be able to have my taxes set aside. So then that CD money can stay in the CD money, and then I'll have that, and then be able to save for the next year. But it's also another good point. It's like, yeah, this provided me with goals and purpose of money, which has definitely helped me save. And so his idea about like saving without a purpose is kind of, I don't know if that's useless, but I can see where then it's easier to be disciplined about saving your money when you have a goal attached to it or a purpose. Like me, I put the money aside to make sure that I have my taxes. Now that I'm confident I have that, and then my month's worth of bills, I've done that, and now I have more money, and now I'm trying to look at mutual funds. Seems like, from what he's laid out in his book so far, a little bit safer. I got out of the dog coin. Actually, I made $100. I got out of it before it went to shit. And it was good. And I don't like investing in lottery schemes. Definitely, yeah, there's no shortcuts. I like that. His ideas, these quick money schemes, his shortcuts. You gotta work at it. It definitely, man, looking in the mirror, man. Yeah, I would definitely agree. You know, I mean, we know what we need to do, but we don't do it. It's like his analogy of losing weight is very good, because I knew how to lose weight. You know, I've done it before, and I just didn't do it. I just didn't do it. I know it's calories in, calories out. And I just overate. And I rationalized it. Just like money. I rationalize it. It's easy to do. So I can look at that within myself and know that, yeah, okay, 80% of building wealth is behavior. I'm like, yeah, 20% knowledge. I can get behind that. I mean, because you have to do it. So, just like losing weight, I have to freaking do it. I don't need to have a whole pizza. I can just have 2 slices. Do I need to have 3? You know, it's catching my myths. Definitely, I can see that. Myths that we believe. Like, oh, muscle weighs more than fat. It does, but yeah, at the same time, when I was 265, that's what people would say, oh yeah, muscle weighs more than fat, but yet, not that much, you know what I mean? Now it's fat. I still am. I'm hydrated, 190 pounds. I know if I ran 10 miles, I'd probably lose 5 or up to 8. Tomorrow I'm going to run 10 miles, and I like to weigh myself at the same time after a run in the morning. Then I'm getting the same kind of weight. So I'm not like gaining crazy amount of weight. I've maintained 181, 180, 183 for the last 3 weeks. That's not bad. I'm not going to get complacent about it, but I'm going to break the myths and look at myself in the mirror and understand the consequences. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm like wasting money when I'm going on vacation. I budgeted it out, and I know how much I need to make in order to not touch my savings. So then I'm gonna, you know what I mean? That's the way I'm doing it. And plus, I have family to visit, and I'm gonna train for my marathon next month. I gotta get 30 minutes faster. And it's a good reset, you know. The house I'm living at, not complaining, but it's gonna be 1 million people living there. Gotta get my own place, you know what I mean? I gotta get my own place. Or I've been thinking about living in the car, but that would force me to live more simplistic. Save money. I don't know. The opportunity here in this market is good, but the cost of living is just, it's not possible, man. I'm thinking about it. Oh yeah, I'm gonna buy a house someday, but it can't be here in California when rent is $1,800. I mean, Jesus, you know what I mean? And houses are like freaking 800,000 and more. Condos are like 400,000. I mean, need to have a real good retirement set up, and I don't have that yet. Time's running out, you know what I mean? I'm halfway over my life, you know what I mean? So I have plenty of life left, but, you know, geez. It's a lot of money to think about when I'm retired. Not so, guess, what can you say? Where you kind of gone out to pasture. Economically viable to earn money, I guess. I'm 65. Just the bills here in California. I mean, just Neil Diamond, caught between both shores, but definitely the cost of living is expensive in Massachusetts too, but it's not like it is here. So, it's a responsibility of mine to behave appropriately and just to move the fuck out of California, man, because, you can get a condo in Massachusetts for $100,000. It's a 2-bedroom. If you have a good roommate that you know and trust, and you have to make sure of that, you could save some money. And be okay, you know what I mean, even though you don't have much. And live a better life. How are you going to live a good life in California when the freaking rent's so high? I know that my SSI check won't cover it. How the hell, what kind of life are you going to have? Obviously, I'm making money, and I'm trying to make as much as I can, and for the most part, I'm saving money. I bought the watch, but I use it. It's something that means something. But for the most part, the money that I'm making, I'm saving it. I have the budget in my mind. I know what I need to make, and I'm doing better than I've ever done in my life. So that really reaches out to me about look in the mirror, take responsibility. I'm not talking about that guy, the cringeworthy dude who is the DoorDash. Oh yeah, man, you gotta take responsibility and take those $2 orders. You got it flipped, okay? You're flipping it. Take responsibility and don't take those $2 orders, man. Because if you take them, then it's your responsibility for taking them. So when you're not making money, it's because you took them. So he's got it reversed. Like that UFC, Bellator fighter. Oh, he flinched. I was afraid for my life. He flinched because you had already bumped into him on purpose. And then you're up on him like that, and you probably were talking some shit, and you had a vibe about you, because you already bumped into the guy. So he flinched because he thought you were going to hit him. And he kind of reversed it in his mind to justify that he was scared for his life. Some busboy or whatever. The guy deserves to go to prison. I don't give a shit. You weren't freaking defending yourself. That kind of loopy logic that people apply. How did I even come to that? But yet, rationalizations, justifications of shitty behavior. I'm being a little hard on myself for eating, but I'm eating healthy still. You know what I mean? I need to eat. And it's not like I'm freaking binging out. But yeah, I gotta keep that in check too. Don't mind fuck myself. But yeah, at the same time, don't rationalize myself into eating a crazy amount of food every day. Like I was doing. Like when I was 265. I'm running every day. So yeah, I can eat a fucking ton of ice cream every single freaking day. And that kept me fat. So it's kind of a balance, right? The yin and the yang, you kind of want to stay in the middle, man. You kind of need to keep it in the middle path where you're not mind fucking yourself on either pole, you know what I mean? So, yeah. It's a good book. This Money Makeover. It is common sense. I know that I'm segregating my income using several accounts. I use it that way as basically an envelope, because then it's easier to put money where, here and here and here, and then just put a month's bills in my checking, and then even if it is a small amount of interest, keep everything else in savings and longer term money in the CD. And I want to do mutual fund investing, something that's safer, but I guess you need $100,000. It'll take a few years. And so when it comes down to, I think, like I want to buy a house, I want to have a good, long, large down payment. So I've made that decision where I want to have at least $40,000 to put down. And of course, it's not going to be in California because, I mean, if I can get a condo, you know, something I can own, put it on a fixed, and then maybe it won't be, of course, you look at your condo fees, but it might be then not so expensive to maintain as a house. And then it could be like $100,000 at that time. Like I'm thinking 5 years down the road. Then, you know what I mean? I could win. So I think I'm on the right track, being realistic. Because yeah, companies are doing bad when they allow people subprime debts, when they know that somebody can't afford the house. But you know, it's a situation where, yeah, they can afford the mortgage, but if anything would happen, they wouldn't be able to. So yeah, I want to be able to have a large down payment and then have 3 months of mortgage payments set aside in my savings. So therefore, it gives me at least 3 months to find another job. Dave Ramsey's 6-month plan, that's good. Maybe then what I do is, like, I have a month, I extend it to 3, and then as I'm paying down things, then I can extend it to 6. And of course, get rid of debt as fast as possible. You know, I definitely logically understand pay your highest interest first. But I have to say that I agree with the snowball, because it makes you feel better to knock out each debt quicker. Like, my car is at 1.99%. My student loan has, I think, 6.5. So I should be paying my student loan off first. But it'll make me feel so much better if I can knock out my cars first. You know what I mean? It's kind of, it makes you feel better. And then moving on to the next. And then I'll do my student loan. And then I'll do the income injury. That's the way I'm going to do it. Knock them out one at a time. The quickest ones first, rather than doing the avalanche style of the biggest. Because psychologically, it makes you feel better, I guess it is better. Because yeah, that's a true story too, man. Hope. That's part of the reason why I get really triggered over this frickin' employee fucking thing about freaking e-gig work. It's because right now it's slow, big deal. It's part of the wave. You ride it. But I'm able to make $1,200, sometimes more a week. And that's not what I was making as an employee. And I was a hard worker. I worked a lot of hours. I was liked at work and I was given the hours, but I wasn't able to put my hands on that kind of money. So now that I'm consistently putting that kind of money, it gives you hope. And that really does help you save. And so the idea that we're going to become employees signifies the loss of hope, which makes you worried. It makes me worried. You know what I mean? It freaking gives me that feeling of dread. The feeling of dread. It's a shitty feeling. But it definitely keeps me focused on make the money while you can, Because as an employee, it's going to be like the Amazon blocks. It has to be that way. Where they have blocks that you can select, or time frames, or something like DoorDash. And then what they're also going to do is, man, they're not going to let you get time and a half as an employee. They're not. There's no way they would. Otherwise, shit. You know what I mean? I mean, they're not gonna. So they're gonna cap that. And they're easily gonna cap it by offering you blocks or a schedule as needed. So you're gonna lose a fuck ton of money. And that's another thing that reached out to me when I think about it, when his book is like this false sense of security, that you're working a shit job that you hate for this false sense of security, man. Yeah. And that's what people want. That's what these e-gig workers want. They want security. So they're willing to trade money for it, because now they're an employee. Well, you're an at-will state. Most places can. And all they have to do is catch it going 5 miles per hour over the speed limit and then cite you for safety. Or something stupid. Hopefully my $42 one's going to come. Hopefully. It's time. It's 10:50. I'm going to miss it today. I'm going to be like, bummed to hell. But, yeah. So... trade effort for dollars, man. Trade the effort for the dollars. So yeah, it's good. You can make more money that way. Trust me, the overtime, after 10 hours or so, you're paying the tax. I've told you before, right? $3,280 or some dollars, and I only took home $1,840. That's 47%. Was taken. I'm not getting taxed at the rate of 47% as an e-gig worker. Okay. If I'm to pay $5,000 and I project to make $65,000, maybe more, that's a pretty damn good rate. There's no way when you're making $65,000 gross as an employee that you're going to make out like that. And I think in California, oh man. Dude, I don't think it's going to happen. Ooh, I don't think my 42. What you need is that 4-stack. Those 4 stacks are always like $40. Cross my fingers, man. Cross my fingers. Cross the fingers. So, yeah, working on it. You know, that's what life is. I wish that I did this earlier when I was making. Back in the 90s, I had a job and I netted $500 to $700 in a week. And I was doing a lot of crazy overtime. It was insane. It was a good job. I mean, during the shutdown period, if you came into work, you got double time and a half. That shit was crazy. And in that time, I was paying $75 a week for rent. $75. I didn't have any electric bill at the place I was living. I didn't have a car payment at that time. I could have saved a fuck ton of money, man. I could have saved a lot of money, man. Kick yourself, you know. I could have saved a lot of money at that rate. I didn't have any bills. I didn't have any debts back then. Literally, I didn't have a credit card back then. I didn't have a credit card until like 20 years ago. I didn't have any debts. All that was cash I could have invested wisely in like mutual funds or something. So, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Could have made money. I could have go into a time machine. Whew. Yeah. Then I could invest so wisely, right? I'd be rich. I'd be the next Warren Buffett, right? I mean, I don't know, man. But don't cry over yesterday, right? Just move forward, work on it, plan. One thing also that he said that he was broke. I've never lost millions, so I don't have to worry about that kind of feelings. But I've been broke. I'm still broke. I'm not rich. I will take this one because I'm not going to gamble. I'm not gambling. You know what I mean? Because I've lost that way where I've turned down a, and you know, I mean, that's 32 is better than nothing, man. Gotta take it. Gotta take it. Gotta take it. So yeah, gotta get working. Gotta get earning. Gotta get rolling. Stay focused. Learn from my mistakes. Yeah. Don't take advice from broke people, right?